Good morning, and a beautiful one it is. Things are still going strong, though we've had our share of turmoil over the past while. Summer is gone, fall is moving in, and with the fall, we're starting to get the hurricane season and storms coming up the eastern seaboard. Let's go back to see what we saw a couple days ago when we looked out the window in the morning. We had a windstorm overnight that completely tore away the plastic on one end of our greenhouse. Looking at it from the inside, you could see that it completely exposed our plants to the heavy rain we had the night before. Soon we had a plan together to get a new roof on the greenhouse by the end of the day. We knew earlier in the summer that this greenhouse covering would soon have to be replaced. A couple of months ago I began sewing together the plastic for the new cover, and now it was time to finish it and get it installed. After a couple of hours of sewing, we had a new top for the greenhouse. Now it was time to get it installed. This greenhouse was built from an old car garage. After double and triple stitching everything, we sealed the seams and the threads with clear tuck tape. Using a rope through the hem on both ends, we installed it much like the original cover. We used a wiggle wire and lock channel where the bottom edge of the plastic was on both sides of the greenhouse. We never used this product before, but we were very pleased with how well it worked. The finished product looked very good. We were very pleased with it and installed it directly over top of the previous layer of plastic. As we were moving into the fall, this double layer would give us an extra layer of insulation. Well, the outside is now back together. We have a little bit of tidying up to do in here. Much of this here is a double layer now. So that's going to help with the insulation factor a bit. And some of this up here, we're just going to stick it up. This little bit won't have a double layer, but we're just sticking this up out of the way for now. So I'll get that straightened up and put a little bit of tape there. The wind won't be able to get at that, so it should be okay just with a few pieces of tape for now. There we go. We have a new outside layer. The inside layer is still there, giving us double plastic. That's going to certainly help this fall with the heat. And we have it sealed much better right around the sides and on the ends. So overall, I think we have a better greenhouse than we started with. It looks better, and it's better insulated, and it's certainly a lot stronger. I did have that top made up, or mostly made up, back a couple of months ago because I was looking at replacing the top during the summer. I knew it was getting pretty rotted. So we only just had to do a bit of sewing on it today to finish it off, and then get the accessories ready to install it, and it worked out good. It really worked out good. I'm pleased. So I decided to bring the plastic down over the edge of my hatches here because I was getting some water in here. I had no drip cap on it. That plastic now is going to help to keep that water from getting down there. So now when the hatches are closed, the water coming off the top will not be going in through the edge right there as it was. It's going to keep everything drier on the inside. At the end of the day, this greenhouse looks much better and will work much better to keep our vegetables warm and to keep the wind from blowing through. In checking everything over inside the greenhouse, it didn't appear we had any damage or problems with the plants. Afterward, while I was putting nutrients in the peppers, we did notice they were overflowing. They shouldn't have been. Now the top of the reservoir for our NFT system is depressed, and what had happened is we had so much rain with the wind that night, the water ran down through this hole and completely flooded the reservoir. So the next time I put nutrients in, it just overflowed everywhere. So what this has done for us, this means our nutrients are very much diluted. So I'm going to give the peppers a much stronger than normal dose of nutrients when I feed them again. As we talked about in the last episode, we want to get the potatoes taken up in the barrels. I suspect they're not going to be much good, but we're going to have a look and see if the wireworms got them. So come on out in the garden and we'll get those dug up. Things in the garden are looking good. Onions are still growing, though many have tipped over. They're not turning brown yet. These potatoes, we're going to sample those in a little bit. Carrots all look good. Let's dig up those potatoes over where you are. These potatoes don't get the same drainage as the raised beds, so I suspect there are more insects in them, and I'm not holding out very much hope that I'm going to have any good potatoes here, but we're going to see now. Wireworm there that was just coming out of that potato. Look at the holes. Potatoes are a nice size, but are they going to be any good with regard to having holes in them? Oh, not too bad. Don't see any wireworm holes in that one. Seems we have white ones and red ones here. Yeah, there's a couple holes in that one. The white ones seem to have less holes in them than the red ones. Interesting. Seem to be a hit and miss with the wireworms. That red one there looks pretty good. All right, so that looks like it for that one. Let's move over to this one here. See how we're doing here. Oh, the potatoes seem to be a lot thicker here. 2, 3, 4. All right. So far, I'm not seeing any damage from the wireworms on these. No, they look okay. Nice. All right. I don't mind them being small as long as they're not damaged with the wireworms or the other insects. These small potatoes are fine. We'll eat those. loose soil is hard for the wireworms to go through. So I'm thinking that I will probably end up adding a lot of sand to my soil and then tilling that through really good for next year. And by having it as loose as possible, I'm hoping, I mean, I tried that this year, but I only just had the pick and shovel and the rake to till it around with. So I've got a small tiller that we're going to use next year. In fact, we're going to use it this fall to mix things up a bit, and it'll be well loosened up next summer before the vegetables go in. And I'm hoping by having very sandy soil, but it will still have all of this in it, so it's still going to have the nutrients and so on. I'm hoping that's going to help to keep the wireworms at bay. We'll have to see how that works. Other than that, I am also doing some preliminary experimenting with hydroponic potatoes. We'll see how that comes out. I'm not sure there. If I can get a couple plants to produce some potatoes hydroponically, then maybe I'll look at doing something with that next year. We'll see. We'll see. A few more potatoes right here. Overall, these potatoes here in this barrel aren't too bad. There's no damage to that one. All right, I think we've got everything out of that one. Let's move on to our third barrel. Now, here in our last barrel, see what we're getting. These here, okay, that one there definitely has some damage to it, as does that one. So here's what we've got from those 3 barrels. I'm going to get another container and we're going to take some samples from our main raised beds and see what they're like. Now, this bed here has the russet Burbank potatoes in it. We dug one up here a while ago. We're going to dig up the next one to it here. See what we're getting. See if there's how much damage we have to the potatoes from the worms and the insects. I'll look at some of these weeds here. All right, so let's have a look here. Not bad. I don't see any damage. Those are actually looking pretty good. Take up another couple and we'll see. All right. So the only thing I'm noticing, this one here has a little bit of white on it. Maybe mildew or something, I'm not sure. I'm going to dig up another couple, see if I see any more of that. I don't want them to be going bad in the ground either, so. Oh, it looks good, looks good. All right, so it doesn't look like the wireworms are bothering these here at all, which is good, excellent. All right. So we got those few from there. Now over here, I believe we dug one up over there a little while ago. We're going to dig right here now. These are Norland potatoes. They look very plentiful here. All right. They're smaller. A little bit of evidence of wireworms there. Not real bad, but there is some evidence of wireworms. These certainly need more time in the ground. Some of them are very tiny. Oops, we got a red one there from somewhere. I don't know where he came from. Shouldn't have been red ones up here with these, but... All right. Now, across the end of both of these beds, we have Irish cobblers. There's about 3 rows of each. Let's go down and have a look at those. Okay, so let's have a look at the Irish cobblers here in this bed first. See how they're looking. All right, there's a bit of scab on that. Otherwise, it seems to be pretty good. Like we saw before, some of these are very, very tiny. Now, we had an extremely dry summer here, a lot of forest fires and that, and it doesn't surprise me that nothing grew well. Get down a little bit deeper into the soil here. Not a bad size. Now, I think, look at the little tiny wireworms there. Haul them out and squish them up. So there they were, trying to get into the potato right now. Every now and then I do come across, I see one right there. Very tiny one. So there are definitely wireworms in these. They're nice potatoes though. They're very nice. Good size. Most of them are anyway. Little bit of scab on them, not bad. Prime example of some scab there on that one. Yeah, wireworms are definitely getting into those. And maybe we'll do one more sampling over here in this bed. These here are also Irish cobbler. We'll see what we're getting out of this. Let's have a look. All right, so we have one here. It's got some scab on it. Otherwise, it looks like it grew well. I don't see any holes. Now, Very nice potato there. And look, right here, look. There's our wireworm. It looks like there may be a young one right there. Nice potato there. No damage to that one. Bit of scab damage there. I don't know if there's also a couple holes in it from the wireworms. That one's after splitting right open. I guess it grew pretty hard. And so there's what we got from our 3 barrels up there. They're not bad. Some of them do have damage from wireworms. Quite a few of them are okay though. And these here are from our main bed. We've got some scab in some of these, but many of them are fine. There is some damage from the wireworms themselves. So we know the wireworms are through all the beds here. So we're going to take these over and we'll get them rinsed off and put them to dry and have a closer look at them later. These here came from the 3 barrels, and these over here came from the garden. We can see that the wireworms have done quite a bit of damage to these potatoes. Now where the wireworms have gone through the potatoes, that can be cut away. I don't know if I've ever found a worm in the potato after it's been harvested. During the harvest you will find some, but they seem to leave the potatoes once they're harvested. And I haven't found any in the tray here either, so I don't think there's any wireworms in anything here. But we usually just cut away the areas that the wireworms have damaged. And then we use the potato. The problem is, potatoes that have damage like this, they do not store very well. So it's best to use those sooner than later. So where we had the wireworm damage in most of our barrels, when we got over to our raised beds, we ended up with a lot of scab. Now the scab is often caused by the soil not being acidic enough. And some of these also do have wireworm damage. But for now, let's head back to the greenhouse. All right, well, we got a few potatoes anyway. We're just going to have a quick look around in here, see how things are looking. Checking some of my tomatoes here for a bit of blossom end rot. Don't see anything here right now. I did have one a couple days ago. That one's gone, obviously. These are all looking good. We can get everything that we've got here now to start turning. So we can pick them and let them finish turning in the house. We should be doing all right. So our peppers, they're still all looking good. It was a couple days ago that we had that rain that flooded the reservoir. So I'm hoping that by adding some stronger nutrient now, I'm going to be able to replenish enough nutrients that they're going to continue to grow and continue to mature. There's still a few that are small, but the majority of them have started to turn or they're already turned. We've got a big bowl of them in the house from last week, so I don't want to be picking any more of these yet. We've had the freeze dryer going all out. So I'll be giving these some stronger nutrients, and we'll see what happens from there. I think they'll be okay though. These little red tomatoes, they're really sweet. For now, I think that's it for our gardening. We're going to head in. We'll see you next time. You take care. See you right here in the greenhouse.